Classics don't always mean millions. Welcome to the channel, friends. Today we'll show you 10 retro cars that are worth much more than you think. Welcome to the channel, friends. These are non-museum exhibits created with celebrities that can be sold. And you can't sell this kidney with the car. Volkswagen Beetle, Ford Falcon, Volvo, all these are legends of the road, available to every enthusiast. Some of them can be bought even cheaper than a used Kia, especially if you're not afraid to do a little manual work. So if you dream of a classic in the garage, your time has come. In this list, discover finds for those who want style, charisma, and a car with a soul. Not for millions, but for thousands. Number 10. The 1967 Volkswagen Beetle. Not only is it one of the most beloved classics in the world, it's also one of the most affordable ways to own a piece of automotive history. And now, let's get right down to business. The 1967 Beetle is special. It was a turning point in the Beetle's history. It was the first year with a 12-volt electrical system. It had a more powerful engine, a 1.5-liter flat 4 producing 53 horsepower, and improved brakes. It even came with a factory dual-circuit master cylinder for added safety. It looked almost the same, but inside, it was the best-handling Beetle to date. How much is it worth today? Here's the shocking part. A well-maintained 1967 Beetle in daily drivable condition can be found for as little as $8,000 to $12,000. That's right, less than a used Kia Soul or a base-model compact SUV. And if you're willing to do the work, project cars start in the $3,000 to $5,000 range. We're talking complete cars here, not wrecks. They're available on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and classic car auctions. But if you want something clean, restored, and maybe even show-ready, expect to pay $18,000 to $25,000. That's still a bargain considering the Beetle's worldwide fame, parts availability, and unmatched charm. And best of all, these cars hold their value. They're easy to work on, have a huge enthusiast community, and look cool in any era. This isn't a museum piece locked behind velvet ropes. The 1967 Beetle is a car you can drive, put a wrench in, park in Cars and Coffee, and still get groceries without a problem. So, if you're dreaming of a classic in your garage, something with soul, personality, and history, this is it. You don't need $1 million, just a little passion and maybe a good set of sockets. This was the 1967 Volkswagen Beetle, affordable, iconic, and utterly timeless. Stay tuned, because in the next issue, we'll be looking at even more retro legends that won't break the bank. Subscribe, hit the bell, and keep the classics growing. An often overlooked car, but if you're looking for a reliable and affordable classic, this one deserves a second look. Number 9. 1976 Plymouth Valiant. Let's be honest, the Valiant wasn't a muscle car, it wasn't a show car, and it didn't dominate the racetrack, but it was one of the most reliable and durable American sedans of its day. And today, it's one of the smartest buys on the classic car market. The 1976 model was the last year of the third generation. It was simple, boxy, and practical, and that's why it's still around today. Under the hood of most Valiants was the legendary Slant 6 engine. If you know, you know. This 225 cubic inch inline 6 was famous for being virtually indestructible. Smooth, easy to maintain, and incredibly reliable, it was the perfect choice for drivers on a budget who just wanted something that worked. You could get a 318 V8 in 1966, but the Slant 6 was the star of the show, and it's the one that collectors still revere today. Now let's talk price. A clean, running 1966 Valiant? You can still find one for $6,000 to $10,000, depending on condition. That's not a bad deal, especially considering how easy it is to find parts. Mopar loves these cars, and there's no shortage of support. If you want a fully restored, show-ready version, one that you can drive to local meets and turn heads, you're looking at $12,000 to $15,000 tops. Still a few thousand less than the cheapest Mustang or Camaro from the same era. And the best part? Insurance is cheap, maintenance is cheap, gas mileage? Not the best by today's standards, but better than most V8 classics. So if you're buying a classic for the first time, the Valiant is the one for you. It's easy to drive, incredibly easy to maintain, and still has that old-school Detroit charm. No, it's not flashy, but it's honest. It's the kind of car that doesn't pretend to be something it's not, and sometimes that's what makes it cool. So if you're dreaming of a slice of the 70s, a 1966 Plymouth Valiant might be the smartest choice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more affordable classics coming soon. Number 8. 1970 Volvo Amazon. Now the name might sound poetic, and it is, but the Amazon was a serious machine. Built like a tank, styled like a European gentleman, and durable as a rock, this Volvo became a legend not by speed, but by staying power. The 1970 model was the final production year for the Amazon, officially known as the Volvo 122 in most markets. And it went out strong. You could get it as a 2-door, 4-door, or wagon, and every version still holds up beautifully today. Under the hood, most came with the B20 inline-4 engine, a 2.0-liter that made around 100 horsepower. Doesn't sound like much, but trust me, it was enough. This engine is famous for its reliability. With regular oil changes, it'll outlive most modern engines without breaking a sweat. Now here's the kicker. The Volvo Amazon was one of the first cars in the world with standard front seat belts. Yeah, long before safety became a selling point, Volvo was leading the charge. The Amazon was built to last and to protect. That's a big reason why so many are still on the road today. So what's it cost? A good condition 1970 Amazon sedan will run you between $7,000 and $12,000. Need a project? You can score a drivable one for around $5,000, especially if you're willing to turn a wrench. Wagons tend to cost a bit more, and pristine show quality models can hit $15,000 or higher, but even then, it's a steal for what you're getting. Maintenance? Pretty simple. Parts aren't as common as American cars, but they're not impossible to find, especially with online support from Volvo enthusiast groups. And if you're restoring one, good news, they're built to be fixed, not thrown away. And let's be real, the design is timeless. The curves, the chrome, the stance, it's classy without being loud, understated but unforgettable. So, if you're looking for a classic that's affordable, unique, and built with purpose, the 1970 Volvo Amazon might just be your perfect garage mate. Not flashy, not fast, but dependable, safe, and full of character. Stick around, more surprising classics are coming up next. Number 7. 1970 Ford Falcon. Now, when most people hear Falcon, they think of the early 60s models that helped birth the Mustang. But the 1970 Falcon? That's a different story, and it's one of the most overlooked affordable classics out there. Here's the deal. By 1970, the Falcon was on its last legs in the US. Ford had reshaped it, literally, turning it into a rebadged Ford Fairlane or Torino platform. That means you're getting a mid-size car, not a compact like earlier Falcons. Bigger body, bigger road presence. Under the hood, you had options. The base model came with a 170 or 200 cubic inch inline-6, reliable, simple, and easy to maintain. But some Falcons could be optioned with a 302 V8 or even the 351 Windsor. Not exactly a muscle car, but close enough if you knew how to tweak it. So why is it on this list? Because you can still buy one without draining your savings. A solid 1970 Ford Falcon sedan or coupe can go for $6,000 to $10,000. Want a V8? It might bump up to around $12,000 to $15,000 for a clean example. And here's the kicker. Most people don't even know what it is. That means lower prices, less competition, and a great opportunity to own a unique piece of Ford history. Restoration? Pretty straightforward. Since it shares parts with the Fairlane and Torino, you're not stuck hunting for rare bits. Engine, suspension, trim, most of it is available online or at swap meets. Design-wise, it's a sleeper. The lines are clean, the chrome is classic, and the interior, pure 1970s charm. Bench seats, basic gauges, and a feel that's more workhorse than show pony. And that's the appeal. If you want a car that stands out at the local cruise night, not because it's flashy, but because no one else brought one, the 1970 Ford Falcon is your guy. It's honest, affordable, and it's built like a tank. So, if you're after a vintage Ford that doesn't cost Mustang money and still gives you the V8 growl, this forgotten Falcon might just be your perfect ride. Stay tuned, more hidden gems coming your way. One of the most iconic and surprisingly affordable classic cars from overseas. Number 6. The 1968 Ford Escort Mark I. Don't let the size fool you. This compact legend isn't just some forgotten economy car. The Escort Mark I is one of the most successful Ford models in the world, launching an era of rally legends, racing, and tuning, all in a compact rear-wheel drive body. Let's talk specs. The base 1968 Escort came with a 1.1-liter or 1.3-liter inline-4 engine. Modest by today's standards, but light, nimble, and inexpensive to run. More expensive trim levels included the 1300 GT and later the legendary Twin Cam, which borrowed Lotus engineering for serious performance. But even the humble base models are fun to drive, thanks to their lightweight chassis and responsive handling. So how much does one cost today? If you're in the US, prices vary. They weren't officially sold here in large numbers, so it's usually worth looking at imported examples from Europe or Mexico. A clean, running Escort Mark I today typically sells for $10,000 to $15,000. Prices can go higher if it's a GT or a true twin cam, but even project cars can be found for under $8,000 if you're lucky. Why is it worth your attention? Because it's fun, classic, and full of personality, and you don't have to be a millionaire to own one. The car is easy to modify, incredibly popular with vintage racing fans, and its parts support is strong thanks to decades of enthusiastic fandom, especially in the UK. The Mark I's square shape, round headlights, and clean lines make it instantly recognizable. Inside, it's minimalist, and that's part of its charm. You get a pure driving experience without any modern distractions. Want to stand out? Try turning up to a local meet in a right-hand drive 1968 Escort. People will ask questions, you'll hardly see them here. And when they find out it didn't cost you a fortune, they'll ask again. In short, the 1968 Ford Escort Mark I is a simple, soulful, and surprisingly affordable car. If you're looking for a lightweight classic with a vintage design that's proven in motorsport and not too quirky, this is the car for you. Don't miss out. Stay tuned. More undiscovered classics are coming soon. Number 5. 1970 Buick Skylark. It's bold, beautiful, and most importantly, affordable. If you've been dreaming of a classic muscle-era ride that won't empty your bank account, this just might be your perfect match. Let's get into it. By 1970, Buick had found the sweet spot between comfort and power. The Skylark wasn't just a grandpa's car anymore. It shared its platform with the legendary Chevelle, but added a touch of class and Buick-style refinement. You had chrome, curves, and serious presence, all without paying GTO money. Under the hood, you could find a variety of V8s, from the reliable 350 small block to the big 455 if you were lucky. The 350, with around 260 horsepower, offered plenty of torque for the street. And let's be honest, that V8 rumble is what makes old-school American iron so addictive. Now for the big question, what's it worth today? Here's the good news. A decent 1970 Skylark can still be yours for under $15,000. Find a solid driver with some patina, and you're in the $10K, $12K range. Project cars? As low as $6,000 if you're willing to wrench. That's a steal when you consider it shares DNA with cars that sell for double or triple that price. And we're not talking about museum pieces you're afraid to touch. The Skylark is tough, simple to maintain, and parts are plentiful. Whether you're restoring it to stock or building a street machine, the platform gives you tons of freedom. On the road, it delivers that classic big-body American feel. Wide stance, heavy doors, soft seats, and that smooth V8 growl. It's the kind of car that turns heads, not because it's flashy, but because it radiates old-school cool. Plus, the Skylark has a kind of understated charisma. It's not trying to be a show-off. It just shows up, growls at the light, and cruises in style. For the price, you're getting soul, style, and serious potential. So if you're hunting for a classic that won't kill your budget, the 1970 Buick Skylark is a no-brainer. It's still flying under the radar, for now. Hit that subscribe button, because up next, more hidden gems that prove retro doesn't have to be expensive. Number 4. 1964 Trabant 601. Now, I know what you're thinking. A Trabant? Seriously? Yes, seriously. Because while this little two-stroke shoebox may look like a joke, it's actually one of the most iconic retro cars ever made, and one of the cheapest classics you can own today. Let's break it down. The Trabant 601 launched in 1964 and barely changed for the next 27 years. Why? Because in communist East Germany, innovation wasn't the goal. Simplicity and survival were. The car had a 600cc two-cylinder engine, made just 26 horsepower, and sounded like a chainsaw on a caffeine binge. Its body? Not metal, not plastic. It was made of something called duroplast, basically recycled cotton waste and resin. Yeah, this thing was biodegradable before it was cool. But here's the wild part. Despite its toy-like appearance, the Trabant became a symbol of freedom. For millions behind the Iron Curtain, it was a dream, a way to escape, literally. When the Berlin Wall fell in 1989, thousands of Trabies rolled into the West in clouds of blue smoke. They were slow, loud, and weird, but they meant everything. So, why should you care about the Trabant now? Because it's one of the cheapest retro cars you can actually drive, and it gets more attention than a Ferrari. Prices today? You can find a solid driver for $5,000 to $7,000. Rare early models like the 64 might hit $10K in great shape, but that's still peanuts compared to any Western classic. Plus, it's easy to work on, lightweight, and quirky in all the right ways. It's not fast. 0 to 60 takes about 21 seconds if you're lucky, but it's guaranteed to spark conversations wherever you go. So, if you're tired of the usual Mustangs and Camaros and want something truly unique, the 1964 Trabant 601 is a piece of Cold War history you can actually park in your garage. Strange? Yes. Cool? Definitely. And affordable? Absolutely. Hit that like button if you'd rock a Trabie, and stay tuned. More forgotten retro cars are coming next. Number 3. 1964 Dodge Dart. Now, this isn't the muscle-bound Dart of the early 70s. This is the compact-sized rebel from a time when Detroit was starting to downsize, and Dodge nailed it. The 64 Dart came in several body styles: 2-door hardtop, 4-door sedan, convertible, and station wagon. And under that clean, squared-off styling, options, lots of them. If you were conservative, you picked the 170 or 225 slant-6 engine, bulletproof, reliable, and easy on gas. If you wanted performance, you went for the V8, including the top-of-the-line 273 cubic inch small block. And that gave you just enough muscle to surprise bigger cars at the light. But here's why the 1964 Dart deserves your attention today. It's a classic you can still afford. While Mustangs and Camaros are skyrocketing in price, a clean Dodge Dart from '64? It'll set you back around $8,000 to $12,000 for a nice driver. You want a near-mint convertible? Maybe $18K to $22K tops, and that's if it's in show condition. You literally cannot touch a Chevelle or GTO for that kind of money anymore. And the best part? The parts are easy to find. The Mopar community is strong, and the Dart's simplicity makes it a great first classic for DIY folks. No fancy electronics, no confusing tech, just pure old-school mechanics. What makes it cool? The looks, the boxy, balanced lines, that wide grille. And if you get one with the push-button automatic transmission, that's right, buttons on the dash. You've got a conversation starter every time you park. The 1964 Dodge Dart is that rare blend of vintage charm, mechanical simplicity, and low-cost ownership. It's not flashy, but it's real, it's American, and it's ready to cruise without draining your bank account. So if you're hunting for a retro ride with attitude, but don't want to spend a fortune, the 64 Dart might just be your perfect garage find. Hit like if you'd rock this Dodge classic, and stay tuned for more affordable legends that prove retro doesn't have to mean rich. Number 2. 1978 Dodge Omni. It may not be a head-turning muscle car, but don't be fooled, this little hatchback changed the game. Let's set the scene. It's the late 1970s. Gas prices are rising, emissions rules are tightening, and the big V8 Landyards just aren't cutting it anymore. Americans needed small, fuel-efficient, affordable cars. And Dodge? Dodge did something no one expected. They introduced the Omni, a front-wheel drive, four-door hatchback that looked and felt more like a European import than anything Chrysler had built before. In fact, the car was heavily based on a Simca Talbot design from France, which Chrysler owned at the time. Yup, the Omni was American in name, but very much an international effort. And guess what? It worked. The 1978 Dodge Omni was practical, efficient, and modern for its time. It featured rack and pinion steering, independent suspension, and a transversely mounted engine, all cutting-edge stuff in the US back then. It even got 35+ miles per gallon, making it one of the most economical American cars of its day. Under the hood, you'd typically find a 1.7-liter Volkswagen-sourced inline-4 or later Chrysler's own 2.2-liter engine, both solid and easy to work on. And because it weighed under 2,400 pounds, the Omni was surprisingly nimble. Now here's the fun part, the price. Back in '78, you could buy a brand new Omni for under $3,000. And today, if you can find one, and they're getting rarer, a decent Survivor costs between $4,000 and $7,000. Even low-mileage, well-kept examples rarely break $10K. It's retro, weirdly charming, and totally underappreciated. And if you want performance, look out for the later Omni GLH. That's goes like hell, built with help from Carroll Shelby, but that's another story. Bottom line, the 1978 Dodge Omni was a pioneer. It brought front-wheel drive hatchbacks into the American mainstream, helped Chrysler survive a brutal era, and gave regular folks a practical car they could rely on. Today, it's a unique retro ride that won't break the bank. Affordable, underrated, historic. Think the Omni deserves more respect? Drop a comment and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe, more hidden classics are coming your way. We're switching gears and talking about a European classic that's flown under the radar in the US. Number 1, the 1974 Ford Taunus Coupe. If you've never heard of it, don't worry, most Americans haven't. The Ford Taunus was built by Ford in Germany, not Detroit. But the 1974 Coupe is special. It's a stunning combination of European style, American design cues, and rugged reliability all wrapped up in a sporty rear-wheel drive body. Let's talk design. The 1974 Taunus Coupe had a fastback body style, a long hood, and a short rear end. Frankly, it looked like a small Mustang, and for good reason. Ford wanted to appeal to young European buyers who liked the American macho look but wanted something smaller and more fuel-efficient. Under the hood, you could find a range of inline-4s and V6s, the most common of which was the smooth and reliable 2.0-liter V6 Cologne. Power wasn't huge, 90 to 110 horsepower depending on the model, but it was plenty for a lightweight coupe, and it sounded great. The interior was surprisingly roomy for a compact car, with bucket seats, wood trim, and a dashboard that felt genuinely luxurious for the time. And since it was a European-built car, handling was precise, more like a BMW 3 Series than anything from mid-70s Detroit. Here's the kicker: it's not expensive. Today, you can find a clean Taunus coupe in Europe for $6,000 to $10,000, depending on condition. And in the US, they're almost unicorns. But if you see an imported example, it's guaranteed to turn heads and be a great investment. Plus, it's easy to maintain. Parts are still available in Europe, and the V6 engine is easy to fix. It's the perfect project car if you're looking for something different, affordable, and completely under the radar. So why is this car so important today? Because it shows what Ford could do when it combined German engineering with a dash of American style. The 1974 Taunus Coupe isn't a muscle car, it's not a hot hatch, but it's perfect for being cool, classic, and affordable. Thinking about a retro car that's not your average Mustang or Camaro? The Ford Taunus Coupe could be your new passion. Let us know in the comments, would you like to drive one? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to see more little-known classics that deserve a look.